Hello again, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel once more. Today I thought maybe it was time for another self-initiation video. Now, taught a lot about a lot of things in the first couple of videos. So let's take a look at yet another detail. This might be one of the most important details, and for many of you out there watching this, it's old hat, of course. But for any newcomers, I just want to clarify this. Now, as you may or may not already be aware of, there is such a thing in witchcraft and Wicca called the Book of Shadows. Now, upon first hearing that, one could be mystified by its title. That sounds really alluring and intriguing and interesting. What is this fabulous book? Well, in essence, this fabulous book, this Book of Shadows, is yours. It's your own book. That's right, it's your own book. It's your own book that you get to author personally. But it's also a book that would never make it to any publisher, because this book is a very private book for you. It's very private and very purposeful, and it will contain everything that you are going to be learning on your path of magical and spiritual development and awareness. You'll want to write down your meditations into it. You want to write down any thoughts or views or opinions you might have, insights, spell casting, rituals. The Wicca laws, if you happen to come by a set of those, should also go into the Book of Shadows. And this book is going to be, again, like a lot of other things in our culture, it is going to be a symbol of your evolvement, of your peace in this great big evolvement of humanity, the cosmos, the universe up there. And you're going to keep this book with you always, adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. And there seems to be differing opinions on what you would do with this book, you know, at the end of life. You can either give it to somebody, hand it down to somebody in your family, somebody you know who would respect it and use it wisely, or you can just burn it. Either case, it is personally your book. And it will be essential and crucial for you to have this book. Now, you can either purchase it. There are many places where you can pick up some very nice, very beautiful Books of Shadows. Or you can just be simple. You can get yourself a 3-ring loose leaf binder and some loose leaf paper and use it for that. When I was a young would-be priest, initiate to be, I was taught this, that there doesn't need to be anything attractive or elaborate. Remember, it's your book. You know, however it looks to you is what it looks to you. Remember, the outside is just the outside. It's just the cover. It's what inside that matters the most. So, carry this book with you always, not physically, I mean, but emotionally. You want to stay connected to it, because like anything else in your witchcraft, it's a tool. It's a doorway into the mind, into the subconscious. So just keep it in your thoughts always. Doesn't have to be anything conscious. And at times you're going to find some sort of an inkling or an uber awareness that's going to make you want to crack that book and write into it. Even though maybe you don't know right away what you're going to write into it. Just whip out the book, open it, hold that pen in hand, or pencil, whichever you choose to use, and just wait. Wait for those words to flow. That's how some of my Books of Shadows have been filled. It's just by being aware, just by keeping my thoughts centered on the craft. By doing so, it opens us up, opens up that higher awareness within ourselves. And again, as with all of the videos that I make, you know, I try to make that, excuse me, I try to make that a foremost thought. In my mind, I try to press that onto my students as well, that this is going to give you a very different perspective and a whole new awareness on everything. So, with that being said, you can now go out and acquire what you need for this book. Maybe you'll know how to make a book. That's great. If you know how to make a book and bind it together, by all means, do so. Make it. Remember, it's yours personally. Whatever you use to put energy into it, it's going to make it stronger and more potent to you. It's going to bind itself to you even more fully with the more writing and more energy you put into it. So, again, if you have that creative inkling, that creative desire, and you know how to do it, by all means, make that book. Just as with any of the witchcraft tools and tools of the art, if you have that creative spark, it should be made. It makes it more personally yours. Myself, it's a little difficult for stuff like that. But be that as it may, let it grow with you. Let this book grow with you. Let it become your personal Bible, your diary, your journal. Because as time goes on and you read and reread the entries, you'll start to see some patterns developing here and there, things that seem to fit together. And that's all part and parcel of what I call the awakening, the spiritual awakening. When I was a young priest on the path of occult knowledges, it wasn't in Wicca, but it was another path of the occult. That's what we called it over there where I was studying. We called it the awakenings. And that's what these are, these little pieces of our thoughts and insights and intuitions. If we can just write them down as we get them, we'll find patterns forming over time. And these are the things that help us to learn about ourselves. They're like signposts. They guide us, direct us, help us to get to know ourselves even better. And that's what it's all about while we're here on this earth. We're supposed to be learning about ourselves, how we fit into everything. To find that mystique within us, that flame that burns within us, that is us. That's what we're looking for. That's what we seek to find when we take this great big step into the occult kingdoms, the occult knowledges. We're really looking for ourselves, and we know that is at least one avenue to take that will open us up to it. So, take care of this book. When you're not writing into it, when you're not doing anything to it, it's advisable to keep it wrapped up in a soft cloth, preferably white. That's just me. Other people might say black or a different color. Purple is always a nice color to wrap it in, but I use white most of the time. It just it tends to be like a symbolic circling around with white light. It's just my preference. For you, it might be different. But keep this hidden away and never let anyone write into it, and never give those rights to anyone else whom you would not trust to use it responsibly. With that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this little tidbit I've given you about the Book of Shadows, and take that with you and learn and grow. Blessed be, merry part, and may the four winds be with you.